thousands of documents detailing the Kremlin's network of offshore companies and their illicit activities, including money laundered from the narcotics trade. The Black Ops budget, codenamed Moscow Gold, was being wielded by the Kremlin regime to wreak havoc in the civilized world. Terrorism, election meddling, cyber attacks, wholesale chaos. The Sokolov brothers had seized a chunk of Moscow Gold, the $300 million. Now they were putting it to good use, turning it against the cancerous mafia state which had weaponized it. Fighting fire with fire, money with money. Establishing presence in various favorable jurisdictions offered them invisibility, freedom, zero taxation, and the kind of flexibility that no state-run spy agency could afford, bogged down by red tape. Over the last few months, they had built up assets, setting up companies and buying properties in countries like Andorra, Montenegro, the ex-Soviet Republic of Georgia, Liechtenstein, and now Monaco. Fast-tracked applications for citizenship through investment had yielded passports from the nations of St. Kitts and Nevis and Malta, enabling visa-free travel to over 150 countries. They'd also stocked up gear, guns, and gadgets. They were modern-day nomad warriors, and they would follow the financial trail to find a chink in the armor and hit at the Kremlin's weakness. One blow could be lethal. So, where shall we start? Sokolov asked. The Pavlova papers gave them a wealth of information to pick out targets from. We go big, Constantine replied. It couldn't get any bigger than the UK. The British capital remained a magnet for dirty money. As the main playground of Russian billionaires, it had become colloquially known as Londongrad. The overpriced UK property market served as a perfect vehicle for money laundering. Despite Downing Street's pledge to create a hostile environment for the Kremlin kleptocrats, the financial flows still found their way to the City of London, a safe haven for hiding the looted riches. No matter how dodgy, the investments provided a much-needed boon to the economy in the wake of Brexit. So while the lawmakers acted tough, they were reluctant to truly crack down on corrupt Russian cash. Because of the influx of wealth, the Kremlin had been committing crimes on British soil with impunity for years. In 2006, former FSB officer turned Kremlin critic Alexander Litvinenko had been murdered in a most gruesome fashion. Litvinenko had felt sick after drinking tea at a London bar with his business associates and FSB agents, Lugovoy and Kovtun. Initially, Litvinenko was admitted to hospital with what the doctors believed to be food poisoning. Over the next few days, his ailing health showed that it was anything but. The nausea and vomiting had been the early signs of something far more horrifying. As the sickness progressed, his internal organs started to fail. He was dying in agony as something destroyed his liver, kidneys, and bone marrow. Bleeding ulcers covered his mouth cavity, and his hair had fallen out. All the symptoms pointed to acute radiation syndrome. And yet, when a team of experts was brought in, armed with Geiger counters, they found no traces of gamma rays. The medics and police were baffled. Then, a particularly painstaking British professor worked out the mystery. It weren't gamma rays that were killing Litvinenko, but rather alpha rays. The short-wave particles dealt damage when ingested and could only be discovered if one knew exactly what to look for. Blood and urine samples taken just 3 hours before Litvinenko's death tested positive for an alpha-emitting substance, polonium-210, which had bombarded his living cells. One more day, and the presence of polonium in Litvinenko's body would never have been found, making foul play impossible to prove. The murder by radiation poisoning, as soon as it was established, led to the single culprit who could have carried it out: the Kremlin. Polonium-210 couldn't be sourced from anywhere else in the world other than the Russian government-controlled avant-garde nuclear facility in the town of Sarov. It was the proverbial smoking gun.